Time to switch my brain to English.
Oh my God, give me a
I miss you.
Good, very good.
How's your energy level today?
What do you think? Where are we at?
Let me see the dance.
Okay, let's see that. Okay, ready, set,
Yeah.
hold the microphone for me.
Too many things to hold.
On your mark, get set.
I'll do it with you.
1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. And now can you do this?
Oh, I can do many things.
There you go. That's the dance. You ready for it? Okay. 1, 2, 3, give us music.
Enough for me. How many brains do you have, Jacco?
Oh, I got plenty going on. How is life?
It's good.
I have to tell you, this session and walking on the show floor, it is amazing the energy that we once again have. Like, it is amazing. I feel like it's even getting better from last year. Last year was a killer year.
What's different this year?
I find it is almost more, it's progressed. It is, it's coming out of the juvenile stage, of the young stage, and it's now maturing. And so I feel like the other thing that I find like it's impacting the entire region. Whether that is just the airport, right? Phenomenal airport nowadays, but I feel like this entire region is energized by RD.
Where's the Red Bull sticker in your?
Yes, I have hidden it, but it's like secretly here. So this is how I should do the interview, right? So like always keep the Red Bull in sight.
So Jacco, your experience is not limited to sales and marketing.
That's right. We do mostly all customer-facing roles in business to business for recurring revenue-driven businesses. So anybody who has a recurring revenue, anybody that is in B2B, focused on all customer-facing role, marketing, sales, and customer success.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Winning by Design, like size? I hear that you are all around, except for Africa? Or?
No, for Africa, yeah. So we're pretty much in all regions.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, no, and you folks are at one of the foundations of our company, but we never intended it that way. I never thought that this would grow to the size that we have. But I think that the new generation, the younger generation, is really picking up on a more customer-focused approach to selling. They don't want to be forced to sell, this whole arm twisting. And I think that we are at the right time, at the right place. And so we see the same kind of behavior in China. We see the same in Europe. We see it the same all across the world.
Are there big differences across the countries?
On this level, not. And it's very easy to explain. Every human being loves their children, and every human being, and generally, wants to raise their kids to become, healthy, mindful person.
Decent, real
people. And I think so too in sales. Every sales professional around the world rather sells professionally and in the right way than not. Now, when I say sales, I mean marketing, sales, and customer success. Marketers, professional marketers are not really looking anxiously forward to sending out spam emails. They don't want to do that. Sometimes they have to do that, but they don't want to do that. And customer success is not super anxious to cut renewals without talking to the customer. Every human being naturally wants to connect with the human being on the other side.
I remember I was super curious. I think it's interesting for the people to know more about this international consultancy, super cool. How you are organized, you have architects behind the methodology. Tell us a little bit about this. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so think of this as when you design something, as when you build something, almost in every trade you use an architect. And so I found the same thing. When we are designing something, in our case we refer to that as go-to-market, we need to use an architect. So our premium roles throughout the company are architects. We have sales architects, we have customer success architect like an Emilia and like a Julie, we have ABM, account-based marketing architect like Sari Johnston, we have a number of sales architects. So we have all these different roles, and the architect designs the proper go-to-market strategy behind it, based on metrics, based on things that are proven to work. That is a lot better than when you think you're going to work or just picking it up from a trade show. We're properly designing it.
And when you say design, is this what you call a blueprint or playbook?
Yeah, it could be a blueprint, could be a playbook. A blueprint is a single play, and a playbook is a combination of plays. But these things are designed based on metrics, based on proven success. And we really generally always want to copy what has previously been known to be successful.
So listen, I'm a small company, you know, like I'm having, I had an idea, I'm starting, I have like these 10 people in my team. Isn't this too complicated for me?
No, actually, sales is really simple. The one biggest thing that architects have to deal with is to simplify things. Like, and compare it to a watch. If I ask you the time, I don't want to hear from you how it works. I just want to know the clock, what time it is. And the same thing with sales in generally, and marketing and customer success. We don't need to know everything, and so our architects are there to make complicated things very simple and teach the people who need to implement it a few simple things to do.
Jacco, I hear that you have some different hobbies. One around cars and what else?
Okay, so my hobbies in generally today's are horseback riding.
They are.
Yeah. From like what I'm really hot on over the past. I used to be a competitive triathlete, and so I have a decent running ability. But over time you lose your speed, and so as I can't run as fast any longer, my mind still goes 100 miles an hour. So today what I do is I have 4 trails around my house, at the coast, in the mountains, and on those trails I use something called plogging. And what it is pick up, litter, and jogging. So I run these trails with a backpack on, and I pick up as much plastic as I can, then I return it at the end. And I do that on 4 trails once a month, and through that I have almost nearly made these trails pristine. That's one of the hobbies I'm over the past 3-4 years I've been doing. So there's several parks now that I've cleaned up.
And how do you think that this kind of, I would say, free times, which is, by the way, very, very nice thing that you are doing to the planet, how do they help with your creativity or your inspiration? Where does it come from?
My inspiration?
Yeah. Except from everywhere, right?
No, it does come from everywhere. This morning, so I'll give you an example. Obviously tomorrow I have the keynote, right? It's up at 4:45. And in that keynote, I believe that good speakers have a few key elements. And I've learned that from Nancy Duarte, a friend of mine. And what I learned is like, hey, good keynotes are all about education. Needs to be content in it. It needs to be about motivation. We want to make sure that people feel good about something. I can't say we're going to change the planet and then not give you a single action item that you can do, so I got to motivate. And the third one that we all want is entertainment. These 3 need to be in balance. You cannot be just entertaining and so on. And so as I want that keynote, obviously tomorrow I want it to be local to Brazil, I can't write that keynote, although I have to in many cases, 6 weeks in advance. So I have to figure out, I leave some of the key sections open and let that come to me. And so this morning I go on a run along the coast here, obviously beautiful, by the way. Yeah, it's beautiful. And the beach, the big of the stretch of the beach is super clean. And so I'm running it, and then it suddenly calms me. Like in the middle of a run, I suddenly have it, sometimes so much so that it raises my heart rate, that tears well up in my eyes. And when I feel that, I know it's bingo. I know that is the key thing that I'm going to lean on tomorrow. That's what I'm going to close with. And those things are customized at the last moment to make sure that it is relevant to the audience and it's not something I created in a shed in the Netherlands somewhere, or in this case in the United States somewhere.
Your session is always one of the top sessions for us. Any spoilers this time? We will all be there. So.
Yes, well, look, I think that I believe, and I think that this is a key that we all need to learn when what I was taught is when you speak in front of an audience, don't make me the hero. I'm not the hero of the story. When you are given the opportunity to speak to lots of people, make them the hero. And if I give these people the right tools, here's a few things that you can learn from. They become the hero, and then as a result, they start to pass it on. Most of the times, decent speakers make themselves the hero, and that is something I'm not built that way. I don't mind, I have an ego on stage. You have to in order to fend your mind off, but other than that, I just, like everybody else, I just want to feel excited and stuff like that. But I think that your audience feels that very much so, that when they see that in play, they go like, yeah, he is trying to not be the hero, and he's trying to make them the hero, I hope.
So as the hero of the SaaS sales methodology, tell us a little bit about that. What's it?
So if you think about sales methodologies and think about selling as something that happens in any part of the process, right? Customer success and marketing. What we have today is that every part of an organization uses a different methodology. If I ask the marketing organization, they use account-based marketing, for example, or high velocity, or product-led growth, something like that. If I then ask the sales team, they may use provocative selling or consultative selling. And if I ask the customer success team, they may use something from a product, like, oh, we're implementing either a Gainsight or the Tango or something like that, and we're using their methodology. And although all these are quite okay and we should all keep doing it, there's nothing that bonds these things together. And as a result, we get a siloed operation. I believe that what we need to do, and what I've been doing over the past decade, say like, why don't we bring, underneath it, we create a fundamental principle. That fundamental principle of SaaS selling is provide recurring value so you can be rewarded with recurring revenue. In order to provide recurring value, you have to make sure that you provide impact. Now, this impact thing I'll briefly explain. When you buy a car, you buy the car because you think of the value it can bring you to the office. But when you go into an Uber ride, you're not buying the value, you're buying the impact. All I want is to deliver me on time at the right spot. One is impact, the other one is value. What all SaaS organizations have in common is that in order to drive recurring value, they have to deliver impact. Every single day. And so that's what I found is that's the fundament of the SaaS methodology.
Almost the mental model, right? Of
yes.
Any company that does recurrence, right?
That's right. Anything recurring. And nowadays, obviously, we see that more and more companies want to drive recurring value and drive recurring impact because they want that recurring revenue.
What else? How did you like the airport?
My gosh, like what an airport. Best airport right now.
You know, we built it for the summit.
That's what I thought. I actually wanted to say, it's one of my questionnaires last year. I wanted the remarks like, hey, can we improve the airport? Wow, well done. You guys are well done.
How many times have you been to the summit?
This is the third year. I'm thankful for having me back. It's the third year that I'm coming here, and I feel like it keeps building every year. There's something that you folks have in this region with this event that is, we have a hard time. SaaS Talk in Dublin is coming close as well, but not like you. There's something different every year. And so I know what that secret is. I've actually interviewed Eric Santos on this particular thing. Is the thing that sets this event apart is something that I've seen in the Netherlands. I'm from a very small town, farmer's town called Tiel, T-I-E-L. And in that town, they throw every September, they throw a parade of floats. Floats is similar to what you have in Brazil with the carnival, where it's like a tractor pulling something with lots of people and things on them. And so what the floats normally in the Netherlands are called flower floats. Now we have, in that part of the country, we have fruits. And so they built floats made of vegetables and tomatoes. And they build this super elaborate float, devices. But what happens is every little village creates their own float. And so 20, 30 villages, separate farmers are all creating their own floats. And so it becomes a very community-driven event. I was struck that when I asked Eric, this is an amazing event. And obviously compliments to Anna and Dennis for organizing this and yourselves. I said, okay, so which company are you using? And what was the answer?
RD.
RD! This is your float! This is your float! And so everywhere I look around, I see RD people on the Instagram. Everybody's RD. You shut the company down for a week at least or more to do this. That's why this event is so from the heart. That's what you do. Yeah, other companies hire a great company. You guys do it yourself. That is beautiful.
And you were thinking about impact and community.
Yeah, that makes you think for a while now, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, I'm thinking you're past.
Hang on, can I do this?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Are you paid for this?
I do not.
No. You're talking about impact, and I'm thinking about purpose in the conversation that I had with her, and she was talking about training younger generations and how you do things differently, etc.
That's right.
Tell us your perspective on this.
I think that training is an ugly word. I think that management is an ugly word for young people. I think that there's so many words that, millennial is an ugly word. And so if I say millennial training, for management millennial training, I mean, like, I'm strike. Why don't you just, like, shoot me now and get over with it? I don't want, think of I'll give it to a very basic principle. Imagine that your boss needs to both coach you and then review you and manage your career path and so on. That is very odd to combine those two roles. In many roles, it won't happen that. The position coach in soccer will not be the one judging and telling you you're being promoted or not.
Deciding your salary and stuff.
And so what we see is that this has gone wrong inside companies. And so it is at the fundamental level it's gone wrong. So we have to correct for that. So I'll give you a simple example. We don't think managers should be managers. Managers should be coaches. And a coach is not leaning over your desk and saying this is how you should do it. A coach is sitting side by side with you, practicing and seeing what can be done. And often themselves may not master the content fully, but together you're learning how to do it. That's called coaching. For me, what we need in today's world with the newer and the younger generations, we need more coaches and we need less management and less training.
What about you? What inspires you? What's the purpose behind all this?
For me, it inspires obviously a very intimate question, but I have no problem giving an intimate answer. I feel that I have a gift, and that gift is to, do certain things, motivate people and so on. I have a gift as an engineer to design certain things, and I have, the gift of sales over the years.
Plus 3 brains.
There you go. I'm in a position, and so I feel not only fortunate, but I feel obliged. I feel responsible for that. Now, in the Netherlands, for example, there's a person called Bojan Slat. I've spoken to him in the past. And what Bojan is doing, he's trying to cover and take out plastic out of the oceans. It's called the ocean cleanup. And he's doing so good at it and funded by world-renowned people. And he's building machines to clean rivers. If I think of plastic, I want to think of, Bojan has that covered. He's doing a phenomenal job. I don't have to worry about it. He's doing a great job. So I love that. What I feel obliged to is somebody says, is sales going the right direction? Who's responsible for making sure in the world that sales is headed the right direction? I don't necessarily want to be the person by myself, but I want people like you to think, don't worry, Jacco is on it. A person who knows what he's doing with the right intent is on it. That's what I feel is my responsibility to this world. It may not be saving the elephants, it may not be saving the whales, but I go okay, I've been given what I've been given and I got to learn how to deal with that. So that's the job I've chosen to make my life fulfilled.
It has to be dear to your heart, right?
Dear to my heart.
What else? Let's get these guys crazy and stand up again and dance again.
Oh, no, hang on, let me see what we can do down here. Where's... No, here, you know what we can do?
Can we do?
Okay, where's the camera? Can we stand up? I will give you the opening dance for tomorrow. Are you ready for the opening dance?
Ready
Okay.
to clap for you.
Okay, you hold my microphone? Okay, I only give you the first few seconds of it. I'll give you the first few seconds. Okay. Yes, he's adjusting the microphone. Microphone 1, or... There we go. Which one are we going to switch over to that one? Are you ready? I'm going to do a dance. This one. Okay, wrong camera. Are you ready? Tell me when we're ready.
Flash mob for you guys.
So I want to make sure that tomorrow we got lots of energy.
I don't know which one, but anyway.
And here's the idea I want you to think about. Do you really want to eat a meal or do you want an experience? Most people say, I don't just want a meal anymore, I want an experience. Then the next thing they always say is, do you want to go on a vacation or do you want an experience? If that is all the case and we want all these experiences, then what I feel that young people want is they do not just want a job. They want an experience that helps them build their life. Now, the 5 things that help them build that experience are what I will talk about tomorrow. But for me, it's really important that the world will not change with people like me leading it. We have to essentially get out of the way and let the next generation do it. What we can do is give them a few simple steps and say, do not make these mistakes. That is a responsibility we have. Because if we keep doing what we're doing, we're not going to end up in the same place. The oceans continue to be filled with plastic. So I feel very strong about enabling the young generation to make it happen. We good?
And this was Jacco. It's Jacco, but for me it's Jacco. Thank you.
You're
again.
most welcome.
Thank
Come here.
you. Another hug. Another hug.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.